Greetings and welcome to Ethio Digest. Independent, truthful and contextual, Ethio Digest has an unwavering commitment to create global awareness on the plight of Ethiopians. We are here to bring forth the voice of the less fortunate and to shed light on their struggle for freedom, justice and peace. We also want to express our gratitude to you, our audience. We have such a high regard for your presence and input in this endeavor, and we are more than happy you were able to join us. Today is July 25th, 2025, our very first compilation of news and major developments in and around Ethiopia. I am your host, Damis Sisai, and I will be reading you the news. First, the headlines. The 40 billion Ethiopian birr worth of cosmetic surgery of Addis Ababa that was built to last for 70 years crumbles in the face of its very first winter. In one of the latest draconian measures, Addis Ababa Federal Police announced that it will start unwarranted searches and install several checkpoints throughout the city. The 24-month-old military engagement between Fano forces and ANDF continued, with Fano forces claiming major victories on several fronts. Asras Mare Damde responded to Brahanu Jula's statements that encouraged the secession of states and regions. Amhara Fano National Forces reported desertions of ANDF troops and joining the Fano movements in several regions. Tension is rising between the Tigray interim government and the residents of southern Tigray after the recent reshuffling of the zone administration at the direction of the government. These were our major headlines, and now the details. The flooding of the streets and neighborhoods in Addis Ababa, which some experts say is the result of a flawed design, planning and construction, has taken the attention of the region. It is the most expensive cosmetic surgery, even by the standards of Hollywood. It was, according to the mayor, built to last 70 years, but did not make it through its very first winter. To deter what it calls is a threat to the city, and in its latest draconian measures, Addis Ababa Federal Police announced that it will start unwarranted searches and install several checkpoints throughout the city. This is happening at a time when arbitrary arrests and detentions by uniformed and plainclothes members of law enforcement are common. Other than creating fear among the residents and other than finding another way of intimidating the populace to ramp up the ransom collecting venue and accept bribes openly, there was no reason that prompted this measure. 2 years after the government declared a state of emergency and waged a war on the Amhara region, and after several claims by the government that Fano forces are decimated and that peace has returned, the war still rages across the region. According to Asras Mare Damde, one of the 13 leaders of the AFNF Central Command, the statements Field Marshal Brahanu Jula made in Jimma last week makes him the first head of armed forces of any nation to advocate for a breakup of a nation. Mr. Asras Mare Damde's conclusion that Brahanu Jula must really hate Ethiopia and Ethiopians is very hard to argue with. It might be necessary and important to remember that this is not the only area that makes Brahanu Jula the world's first. Brahanu Jula is also the first and only field marshal in the history of the world who surrendered to an enemy force, was rehabilitated, was rehired, and was promoted to his present status, a field marshal, while losing the wars in Tigray, Oromia, and Amhara regions. As to the declaration by Brahanu Jula that Fano forces are decimated, Mr. Asras Maredamte responded by saying that the opposite was true, and recounted the recent battles where ENDF has suffered heavy military losses across Gojam, Wollo, Gondar, and Shewa. In the last few days only, after heavy fighting in several fronts, hundreds of Ethiopian military troops have been killed and several dozens injured. A high number of rifles, machine guns, heavy artillery, explosives, and equipment and vehicles were confiscated from the Ethiopian army. Other than the heavy operations in Degadamot, Armajoho, Ebnat, Kodla Hamusit, and the surroundings of Warrata, the ambush on the military on the road from Maxingit to Belesa in North Gondar was concluded with Fano destroying most of the troops in that unit. The attack on the police and militia camp in Arab Gebeya of Tachgaind has resulted in the destruction of the camp and the freeing of prisoners. And after the call from Zemmenekase, also a member of the Central Command of AFNF, to the members of the Ethiopian military to leave the military and join the Fano movement, close to 1,000 troops have deserted the military and have joined their forces. This has been verified by several independent journalists. After the decision of General Taddese Worede to remove the zone administrator in southern Tigray, and the refusal of the administrator to accept the decision, was followed by protests of residents in Maijo and other cities of southern Tigray. There are reports that the interim government has deployed forces in the area. How the interim government will handle and resolve this matter remains to be seen, but tension remains high in Tigray. In another news, EPRP's 11th Congress that was held in Hawassa this last weekend demanded an independent investigation into the death of Engineer Semenyo. Engineer Semenyo is believed to be Abiy Ahmed's first victim, only to be followed by Dr. Ambacho, General Asamno, General Saara, and Hachalu Hundessa, and many others. What should not come as a surprise, though, is the Africa Intelligence Report that Ethiopia is the 7th highest borrowing nation in the African continent. While Egypt leads the pack, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, Angola, Ghana, Democratic Republic of Congo ahead of Ethiopia, while Tanzania, Cameroon, and Senegal follow behind. In another news, the President of the United States approves a $4.7 billion worth of arms sales to Egypt. The Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki accuses the United Arab Emirates, France, Israel, and the United States for arming and supporting Abiy Ahmed's regime that has been threatening to invade Eritrea recently. And finally, according to Axios, Ethiopia might agree to accept Palestinian refugees from Gaza and settle them permanently in Ethiopia. While this is not confirmed, the Ethiopian government has chosen to be quiet on the subject. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you today. And while we are thanking you for joining us, we also want to wish you the best of time.